Awesome. Yeah, hello everyone again. So it's a pleasure to be here. I'd like to say thank you to all the organizers and for this event. So I was watching since the keynote, so it was an amazing to attend and also to learn a lot of things about agents and admin things about AI solutions. So yeah, so for this session, the idea is to have a session about Copilot Studio and fabricated agents. If you have any questions during the session, feel free to send your message in the chat. I'm available to read the content, to read your question and respond the questions and demonstrate how to do that if it's a hands-on question or something like that. So feel free to drop your message in the chat. So first of all, my name is Renato Romao. I'm a Microsoft MVP on the business application category. And also Microsoft Foundry category. So I started working with Copilot Studio since 2019. So almost 6 to 7 years. So it was Power Virtual Agents at the beginning. So I was helping the product team to do some feedback and to help them to not to build the project, to build the product, but to give them feedback about the community. So I was bringing the feedback from the community and sharing with them. So that is the idea. So that is the reason that I became Microsoft MVP in the Copilot Studio category. I'm a Microsoft certified trainee as well, and I have like some content about Copilot Studio and for free on the YouTube channel, Udemy courses, and so on. So if you want to learn more about a specific content, feel free to send me your comments on LinkedIn later. So I'm happy to share a specific use case with you or to record some content for you as well. So our agenda for today, so we have an hour to discuss about this use case. How can we leverage our data, enterprise data, to agents in general? So this is a big challenge when we are building agents and AI solutions in 2026, because we are building agents in general, but sometimes it's not connected to the data itself, or when we are connecting to the data, sometimes it's not using the best practice, or we are unable to chat with my data and also receive the correct answers. So this is a big challenge when we are talking about AI solutions. So I know it because I have been working in a product in a startup about AI. So we are building an AI solution, an AI platform connected to the data. And the main challenge is how can I ensure the data is correct before connecting to the AI? Because sometimes the AI can expose my data. Sometimes if I don't use the correct security permissions, sometimes the data is not responding because I don't have the correct columns, the correct information in my data. So we have a lot of challenges when we are building an AI solution. So that is the idea for this session. So you can understand how can you connect both things and how can you evaluate your agent in Copilot Studio plus in fabricated agents. How can you ensure that is working well for both scenarios? Or you can choose only one scenario as well. So often people ask me why I need to build an agent in Copilot Studio and build another agent in Fabric. Why I can't publish only one or deploy just Copilot Studio or deploy just Fabric Data Agent. So you have both options. So I will show you how to do that and the possibilities that you have behind the scenes. So we have an introduction, the use case, the architecture, and get started with agent and before moving to the demo part. So as you saw in the previous sessions, you heard a lot of things about agents, but the main idea for Microsoft is what you have one Copilot and you can have multiple agents. So we can build multiple agents based on our automation process, or we need to automate any process internally, or if I need to connect AI to my process. So basically I can build an agent and create a persona to my agent. So that is the idea. We can have multiple agents and just one Copilot. So today we have Work IQ, IQ in Fabric, IQ in Foundry. We have a lot of options. So the idea is how can we connect our Copilot, our IQ behind the scenes to our agents and increase the possibilities that we have behind the scenes. So in Copilot Studio, we have a lot of options to deploy. So as you can see here, we have a few scenarios, 6 scenarios only, just to show you the possibilities before moving to the advanced part. So as you can see here, we have the customer success, customer service option. We have the sales, software developers, security operations. So we have a lot of options when we are working with Copilot Studio. We can connect not only Copilot Studio to my data, but I can connect Copilot Studio to my process internally and automate some process. So one of the process that I built like 2 years ago to my company was the invoice process. So it's always a challenge when we are working with invoice process, because sometimes I need to work with like vendors, contractors, and we have a lot of people working with AI and sending invoices to us. And also the main challenge is how can I ensure that all invoice that I share with my HR team can be passed by AI, and the AI can investigate it, and the AI can ensure that the correct information is processed, is available inside the invoice before moving to the finance team. So in this case, we build an AI agent that is basically once the contractor send an email message with the PDF file attached to the email. So basically the Copilot Studio agent was receiving the file, was reading the invoice details, was retrieving the contractor name, contractor details, checking the contractor with the timesheet, combining if the timesheet details like the invoice means like 21 days logged against that specific month. And also in the timesheet, we can see like 18 days only. So how can we ensure that we have the correct information before moving to the next step? And also if we can see any wrong information, we can send back to the HR team and just let them know that the invoice was using the wrong information. So yeah, this is one of the process that we can build when we are building Copilot Studio agents. A few other use case that you can use. So we have the simple one to the advanced part. So the simple one could be like IT help desk with like some samples. You can upload some samples to the agent, like PDF information, like docs, frequent questions, and so on. And also we can have the advanced part that could be like customer support. We can connect to a live agent. So once I send a message, the agent can respond to me and connect to a human. So we have a lot of things that can be done with Copilot Studio. So often people ask questions about how can I build an agent that can move from Copilot Studio to so Microsoft 365 Copilot to Microsoft Foundry. So we have like a triage, we have like layers, different layers we can build it. First of all, we start from scratch. We start from beginning, like a simple one, a simple agent. So we can start from Microsoft 365 Copilot. We can build an agent, a simple agent, just respond simple questions with simple prompts. And then we go, so we found some limitations, and then we can go to the second step. The second step is Copilot Studio. With Copilot Studio, we can connect to agents, we can deploy to Teams, we can deploy to a public website, we can deploy to SharePoint. And then we found some limitations because sometimes it's not reading all documents. Sometimes it's hitting the limit. Sometimes I need to do like streaming. Once I send a message, I can see the answer in real time, not wait for 20 seconds or 30 seconds until I have the response. So in this case, you have the limitation with Copilot Studio. You can go to the third level. So in the third level, you can build agents in Microsoft Foundry. So with Foundry, you can build agents using agent framework. You can extend it. You can deploy to different platforms. So this is the architecture behind the scenes for Copilot Studio. Once we are building an agent, we can connect Fabric in all the scenarios that we have behind the scenes. So first of all, you have the user experience. Microsoft is deploying Copilot Studio in different channels with the idea is you can build one agent, you can deploy to multiple channels, and also if you need to do a maintenance, you can do in one single place, deploy, and also after 30 minutes, the agent, the new version will be reflected across all channels available. So in this case, you don't need to change one agent in WhatsApp, one other agent in Facebook, another agent in Telegram, and another agent in Chams. So you have one single agent you can deploy to multiple channels. So this is the user experience. Behind the scenes, we have the orchestrator. Previously, in Copilot Studio, in Power Virtual Agents, we were building agents with simple questions and answers. But right now, Copilot Studio, you can build an agent to orchestrate the question behind the scenes. When I send a message to the AI is deciding that this question needs to go to that specific way, and basically the Copilot Studio is orchestrating it behind the scenes. So that is the idea for Copilot Studio. Behind the scenes, we are using foundation models. So we can connect to Azure OpenAI, we can connect to OpenAI models or other Fabric, not Fabric, OpenAI models and public models that are available for Grok, for example, or if you are using DeepSeek or any other model, you can bring your model to Copilot Studio and extend it. Another option that Microsoft made it like a few months ago, it was Cloud Code in cloud models, sorry. The cloud models, so like Cloud Opus 4.5 or 4.6. So those models are available in Copilot Studio right now. So in this case, there's a disclaimer in the Microsoft documentation that Microsoft is not responsible for the data and also for the that your model is not your questions are not shared with AI. So in this case, you need to be careful depending on the model that you're using in Copilot Studio. But yeah, if you found any limitations in GPT-4, GPT 5.4, or GPT 5.3, for example, you can use cloud models as well, Anthropic models. In this case, what can be done is we can add some knowledge to my agent. So in this case, I can build I can add some knowledge to my agent. I can build some tools. I can build some triggers, and also I can connect to third-party agents. So in this case, Microsoft is allowing us to connect Fabric in all those scenarios, except for the trigger. The trigger you cannot connect directly in Fabric, but you can connect depending on the data where the data is stored. So in this case, if your data is stored in like SharePoint site or Excel or Azure Blob Storage or something like that, so you can connect the trigger to your data first and then trigger your Copilot Studio agent. But basically, with the knowledge, we cannot only connect to Fabric. We can connect to Databricks, Snowflake, Azure AI Search, and any other platforms, Dataverse, any other platforms. Tools. One of the tools that you can connect is the Fabric, but you can connect to MCPs. So, for example, if you want to create an agent that is expert in Microsoft Learn, you can connect to the Microsoft Learn MCP. You can bring it to your agents. And right now we have the agent flows that is renaming it. So right now is workflows in Copilot Studio. But yeah, you can build some workflows to your tools connected to your agents as well. And also one example of the trigger. So for example, sometimes once I receive an email, I need to start my agent, start working with my agent. So basically you can use trigger to do that. And also the way that I'm showing you today is how can I extend with third-party agents. So in this case, one of the way that we can use Microsoft saw that we have a lot of agents in different platforms. We have agents in Microsoft 365 Copilot. We have agents in Microsoft Foundry. We have agents in other platforms like agent to agent. And also we have agents in Fabric. How can we bring all of them in just one single place and orchestrate it behind the scenes? So that is the idea. We can use Fabric as an external agent and bring it to my Copilot Studio. So this is what can be done in Fabric. I'm not sure if you are aware about Fabric, but Fabric is a unified data platform that you can store your data in just one single place instead of storing data in different places like Databricks, Snowflake, Cosmos DB, and different places. You can bring and reflect your data and mirror your data to one single place like one lake. And in one lake, you can request your questions by using Fabric Data Agent or just Copilot Studio. And also you send a message, basically one lake is orchestrating it behind the scenes. So be careful when we are using Copilot Studio agent connected to your database, because if I'm connecting Copilot Studio directly in Cosmos DB or any other like SQL Server or any other database, so be careful because sometimes I'm hitting too much. So when I'm sending a message, Copilot Studio is sending the question directly to the database. So also we have one lake. One lake is not affecting the data structure behind the scenes. So I'm not affecting the data performance when I'm sending a question from Copilot Studio. So in this case, this is one of the benefits by using Copilot Studio and Fabric Data Agents. So the prerequisites before moving to the demo part, the prerequisites when we are using Fabric Data Agent. So you need to have like a Fabric capacity. So this is one of the requirements available to make it available for your available for data agent. So you can start from F2. That is the first one. So I'm not sure. It's almost 100 euros per month. I'm not sure. It's almost that. And also at least one of the data, like a warehouse, lakehouse, or one or more Power BI semantic models as well. So you can start by using Fabric Data Agents. And also for Copilot Studio, you can start with a trial license. So this is not possible with Fabric Data Agents, but this is possible when we are using Copilot Studio. So there's a question in the chat. What is the difference between Data Agent and Copilot in Power BI? So in Data Agent is Copilot in Power BI, you are asking questions to the dashboard and to the report. So once we are going to the Fabric part, so we are asking questions to the data base behind the scenes. So it means that once I'm using Copilot in Power BI, they are asking questions to the business rules and the structure, the columns that are available in the Power BI report only. So once we go to the data agent, we can go deep. We can go to the database. We can find like 10 different tables, and inside each table we have 100 columns, and inside 100 columns we have like 1,000 rows. So in this case, Fabric is basically generating the query behind the scenes, and also executing the query and using AI, the large language model, and the natural language to respond to the end user. So in this case, with Data Agent, we can go deep. And also Copilot in Power BI is only available in Copilot in Power BI. So it's only available in Power BI. So once we go to the data agent, we can deploy to Copilot Studio, and Copilot Studio can deploy to Teams, SharePoint, public website, and other channels. Or if you only want to use data agent, you can deploy to Power BI, you can deploy to Microsoft 365 Copilot, you can deploy to MCP as an MCP and use in your platform. What else? We can deploy, so I can show you later, but we have like 5 different options to deploy once we are using data agents directly. Yeah. So feel free to drop any other questions in the chat if you have. So these are the links if you want to start by using app.fabric.microsoft.com to use Fabric Data Agents. and copilotstudio.microsoft.com to start using Copilot Studio. So if you want to use the preview features, so Fabric Data Agent is available in all environments, so you don't need to use the preview URL. But if you want to use the preview URL, so you can start testing in different scenarios as well. The important part, are the cost or what is the cost behind the scenes? So once we are using Copilot Studio agents, so you have the Copilot Studio calculator that is available for in a public in a GitHub repo. I'm not sure if there's a public website you can search in the Google, so you can Google it like a Copilot Studio calculator. You'll be able to find the calculator and estimate it. But yeah, as you can see here, 10 different users with 20 interactions per month. So this is low, but just to show you an example, so we have like 400 credits used in Copilot Studio. But yeah, we have 25,000 credits per month. So in Fabric Data Agent, so it's not behind Copilot Studio. So once you have Copilot Studio, does not mean that you have license to use Fabric Data Agent. So you need to pay additional license, and also you need to pay additional cost. So the capacity here you can see all the available capacities in Fabric. So often I start with the first one. So you can start by using the first one, test it, ensure that it's working, do a POC first, and then you can go moving to the other parts. And also, as you can see here, we have the cost per hour. So it means that if you are not using the Fabric Data Agents, you can turn the capacity off during out of the working hours. So in this case, after 6 p.m., you can turn it off. At 7 a.m., you can turn it on, and also the cost will be reduced during the out of the hours, working hours as well. So this is one of the options that you have. And also you can build a Copilot Studio agent to automate this process to turn it on and turn it off in Azure. So this is a capacity that you need to have on Azure subscription, Microsoft Azure subscription, Azure portal.azure.com. You can create a capacity in Fabric, and then you can use it in the app.fabric.microsoft.com. So let's go to the demo part, the best part. So this is my agent. So let me copy this question here. So I built this agent as a simple agent. I built it like a few minutes ago, just to ensure that it's working for our demo, because Microsoft is doing a lot of updates, mainly because the Fabric Data Agent was in preview since December or November last year, and also became a GA feature last month. So in this case, if you have any feedback from to Microsoft, you can share with me, and also I can share with the product team. So they are open for feedback, and also it's really useful for us because we can share with them, and they can improve the product as well. So in this case, I have my Copilot Studio agent. I can deploy it to different channels, but I will send a simple question like, tell me, so in capital letter, tell me the top 5 people responses and send it here. So, hey, data agents. So in this case, I'm mentioning the data agent here because the prompt was not good. So I didn't have time to improve the prompt. But if you want to do and also to improve your prompts, there's a Microsoft documentation I can show you a Copilot Studio a prompt guide. So this is really useful for you if you want to learn more about prompts and so on. So this is create a prompt, and also there is a Microsoft Learn documentation. You can download this PDF file, and also you can open it. There is a prompt guide and how to build a prompt. So how to use the best practice from Microsoft. And here, as you can see here, we often have, like, let me scroll down. So we often have the task, the context, we can say the expectations and the goals and what we are expecting to receive and the output. This is really important for us. If I'm expecting to have a response, the output needs to be like bullet points or needs to be an email notification or something like that. So you can do it in Copilot Studio prompt. So this is a recommendation for you. So let me go back to the fabricated agents. So the AI probably was taking some time and thinking. So let me wait some seconds. So basically, what I built a fabricated agent, and the fabricated agent is connected to cloud tech-tiling data. So let me try to create another session because it's taking too much time. So this is really important for us because when we are building an agent, we need to test it and we need to ensure that it's working well. So we have a question from Dennis in the chat. We hit some limits regarding the queries within fabricated agents and Copilot Studio. The response from the agent stop after 25 and 30 records. Is there a real limit or is there a way to avoid this? Yeah, there's a common complaint when we are using agents in different places. So sometimes we are using agents in Databricks like Genie or Snowflake agents like Cortex, and also fabricated agents. We often have limits on those agents. So 25 to 30 records, I don't think so. So often the limits we have is like 1,000 and 5,000 records. It depends on the number of columns and number of data you have behind the scenes. Because if you have a lot of information, it could impact the AI response. Imagine that when we are using an AI solution, I send a message, the AI is receiving the question, retrieving the data, and passing to the large language model the response. If we have a lot of information in the data set, it could impact or could hit the limit in the large language model. So in this case, it could impact and also the output could be reduced. So in this case, I saw a lot of clients using fabricated agents that they often limit the number of columns they have just to ensure that it's not impacting the output. So in this case, it's not responding it yet. So, but let me check the activity and also I can show you what it's doing behind the scenes. But basically, when I'm sending a message here, probably the output is not, the agent is failing to send the output here. But once I send a message to Copilot to the agent, so as you can see here, hey agent, data agent, tell me more about 5 people responses and send it here. So as you can see here, it's connecting to data agent. So it's taking 30 seconds, it's too much. Just retrieve my data. So it's probably failed and tried twice. And that is the reason that probably I didn't receive the response here because it takes like over a minute just to receive the response. And this is all the data that I have here. So how can I build a data agent, Renato? How can I build from scratch? Because this is not working or I want to build from scratch just to ensure that it's working well. So first of all, you can create your agent. So I can create an agent, like create an agent for the demo in Copilot Studio, Copilot Community Conference, and a simple prompt. So we can create an agent. In parallel, what can be done is you can open your Azure portal. So Azure portal, so portal.azure.com. In this case, we have the fabric capacity available. You can turn it on. So, but if you want to create from scratch, you can just go like resource group. So I can create a new resource. I can search for fabric. And also I'll be able to see like fabric here. And also I can create a new fabric. So basically behind the scenes, we are creating a fabric capacity. I can change the size, as you can see here. Probably it's calculating in real, in Brazilian money. That is this environment location. But yeah, basically you can switch it to fabric. So let me open the fabric capacity. So sorry, fabric is. So in parallel, my agent is already available. So I can change the icon, I can change the name and so on. So this is a simple agent. I can send a message like hi or hello or something like that. And also I can see the output quickly. So here we go. But right now I want to connect to my Fabric data agents. How can I do that? First of all, you need to have your Fabric data agents. So let me zoom out. So we have the agents available. I can add a new agent. I can connect to an external agent, and also I have these four options available: Fabric data agents, Foundry agents, Microsoft agents, SDK, and also agent to agents. That is another option. So in Fabric, I can select Fabric. I can create a new connection if it's not available yet. So I can just pass my Microsoft 365 credentials, and then I'll be able to see the Fabric. So let me say create a connection. So this is really simple. I only need to create a connection, and that's it. Once I'm connecting, Copilot Studio will try to find all agents available in my current environment. So, but I want to build another agent from scratch. How can I do that, Renato? So let me open app.fabric.microsoft.com. So let me open another workspace. We can build it from scratch just to show you that this is possible, and also you can build it in your scenario. So Copilot Community Conference demo. So, and also I need to switch to use Fabric here. So this is really important, otherwise it's not allowing me to do that. So you need to use the Fabric plan. You need to select your Fabric capacity, and also basically I can apply it. After a few seconds, my workspace will be available. If you already have your workspace available with your data, so you don't need to create another one. So you can reuse the same one and you can just build your data agent. But you need to switch the plan. Otherwise, it will not allow you to create your data agents. So as you can see here, we have the data agent. So, but to connect the data agent, I need to have like a data behind the scenes. I can build a lake house just to demonstrate it to you. So lake house, here we go. Let me create lake house schemas and deploy some samples. So basically, if you already have your Lakehouse or Power BI semantic model, so you don't need to build from scratch. This is just a sample for you how to build a Lakehouse, how to bring my data to Fabric data agents. But yeah, you have a lot of options when we are using um, uh, Copilot Studio. Also, and the data agents. So as you can see here, we already have the table. I can start with sample data. So I can import like public holidays. So let me import public holidays. And also it's taking a few seconds. Here we go. We already have the public holidays available to my lake house. So let me go back to the workspace in parallel. And also this is the workspace now. So what I can do is I can create a new item. I can search for data agent, and then I will be able to create a new data agent. So I will name like data agent. Be careful with the special characters and spaces and so on. When we are building the data agent, probably you need to build with like simple name, just to ensure that it's not impacting the data behind the scenes. So right now in data agents, I can add a data source. So when I'm adding a data source, as you can see here, I have a lake house and the new one that I built like a few minutes ago, and also all the data that I have. so including semantic models. So I can choose one lake house. If you have more data, you can just select your data. That's fine. So basically, behind the scenes is validating the lake house, it's validating the schemas that I have behind the scenes and connecting directly. It means that my agent is available for production. No, because once we are connecting to Fabric Data Agent and connecting to the data, we need to train the AI solution. The AI know the structure, but does not mean that the AI is prepared connected to my data. So I can ask a simple question like, hi, just to ensure that the natural language is working well. So, and also be careful with depending on the scenario that you're using data agents as well, because it can take some time behind the scenes. But yeah, response time, 2 seconds, but take some time to reflect my data. So probably 10 seconds for simple questions. So tell me about the public holidays. So in this case, I can ask a question that I know that is available in the lake house. Once I send this message, the lake house is the AI is connecting to the lake house and trying to retrieve the data behind the scenes. So it looks like I'm currently unable to, let me check the lake house if the data is already available. So there's an information here that is like a warning message. Let me check here. Maintenance. Yeah, here we go. It seems to be good now. So probably it takes some seconds to reflect my data because I built the data a few seconds ago, and probably the AI is indexing the data behind the scenes. It takes some seconds and so on. So what can be done is, so let me remove this one and connect to another lake house. So this lake house, I know that we have some data behind the scenes. So let me remove the existing one. And also one of the benefits is you can have multiple lake house connect to your data agent, but be careful with that because sometimes we are connecting to a lot of data. And also once I send a message to AI, the AI is not aware if I need to go to my lake house or to the lake house or to another table. So in this case, you can choose the best one. So as you can see here, here we go. I have the tables available. I can just select the tables that I want to ask a question. So let me zoom out just to see the table's name. Here we go. So we have the city, customer, date, employee, and stock items. So let me clear the chat. So let me ask a question again. So hi, tell me the top 5 products in stock. So once I send a message to the AI is understanding the tables available to my lakehouse and checking each table and checking each column that I have available. And depending on the column that I have available, the AI will try to generate the query behind the scenes. So this is what can be done. So as you can see here, let me collapse it. So it seems that it was an issue to find the query. So let me check it. Let me open this table here just to check the inputs that I have available and not the data that I have available in this item here. My lake house, it's available in this one, not this one. Here we go. So feel free to drop your messages in the chat and your questions as well. Let me open the lake house, the tables, and let me open the stock. And also I can query specific information that is available in the lake the lake house. Here we go. We have chocolates, we have color, we have cartoon, we have a lot of information here. I can ask a question about chocolate. So let me go back to the data agents. And I want to see how many items we have, the stock item name. contains chocolate. So I can send this question to the AI. We'll try to connect to the tables, analyzing the data behind the scenes, and also depending on the question. So as you can see here, I send the wrong information, and also the AI tried to manipulate my query. So here we go. We have 5 different items that contains chocolate in the name. And also I can see here, let me zoom in just to show you better. So if I zoom in, I can see this is the query generated by AI. So it was using like, and also found the column. The column name is stock item, and also found the table. I didn't mention the table, but the AI decided and found those items. And also, as you can see here, this is the data schema and the data set that the AI found it to me. And depending on the data set, the AI decide to combine all of them in just these 5 bullet points. So in this case, I can combine more. But in this case, if I see that we have 6 items total, not 5, and the AI didn't send the correct AI query, what can be done is you can copy it, you can copy the query, you can go to the Explorer, and also as you can see here, this is the data that I have available in my Lakehouse and my data agent, but I can go to the setup, and also in setup, we can configure the agent instructions. So here you can improve your data, your agent configuration. So in this case, I can pass more details to the data agent. So in this case, even if I'm not using Copilot Studio, if I'm only using data agent, I need to pass the instructions here. So in this case, I can tell the AI about my data. So here I'm using the data about stock and employees, and also I'm using products names and so on. So you can tell the agent about your solution. And also another information that is really important when we are using AI and also data agent is the data source instructions. The agent is one thing, the data source instructions is another thing. So use the agent instructions to tell what is the expectations for your agent. So the context, the goals, and the expectations, the output, and so on, the language and the guidelines and so on. And also the data source instructions, you can tell the agent when you need to use that specific lakehouse or the semantic model. So in this case, I can have like 5 different lakehouse, but I can explain that specific lake house you need to use in those scenarios, and the other one you need to use in that specific scenario. So you can tell the AI solution what is the best solution or the best practice for that specific use case. So in this case, I can describe my agent and also I can tell the agent about it. But sometimes this is not enough, because sometimes I'm asking a question about chocolate and the AI is putting capital letter, and also in the database we have lowercase, but the AI is trying to change the chocolate to capital letters. What can be done is you can train the AI. So in this case, you can add some samples to the AI. So like in this case, I want to see how items relate to chocolate. So in this case, I can enter the SQL, the SQL query that is expected to that specific question. So in this case, you are teaching the AI, you are not um, uh, allowing the AI to decide the best query to be generated. So in this case, you are teaching the AI what is the correct query. So in this case, as you can see here, I pasted the query. So let me paste in the path, in the URL. So in this case, so it's taking some seconds. Here you go. So it's invalid because yeah, I forgot to include the information here. So it's including some text. So let me remove the text here. Here we go. So in this case, we have the SQL query. So in this case, I don't want to use all the columns because it's taking too much time. Sometimes I'm sending a simple questions and also it's taking 20 seconds because I'm opening all columns available in that specific table. So what can be done is you only need to retrieve this one, and also you need to, instead of using like, you want to use equals, or you want to use minus. You can pass the query, the expected query to the AI. Once you do that, basically the AI is validating the query and also it's already available. It means that the AI is trained based on your queries. So what can be done now? You can send the same question. So let me go back to my data agents. So let me go to my data agents. So let me close it. And also if I see, I want to see the chocolate items. So if when I send this message, even if I'm not using the same text, the AI is trying to combine the question and the user message and the trained questions and trying to find the best scenario to respond. So let me see if the AI trained. So as you can see here we go. So right now we have reduced the data set, and right now we have only one column. We reduced it from 20 seconds to 11 seconds in just one single change. So in this case, this is one of the improvements that we can apply to the data agent as an example. So once you are happy with your agent, so basically you can deploy it, you can publish your agent. So, and also there's a button available, also publish it in the agent store in the Microsoft 365 Copilot. So this is an option. If you have the Microsoft 365 Copilot license, you can just deploy it and also it will be available. It takes a few seconds, probably 30 minutes or minutes, sorry, not seconds, but a few minutes, and then you'll be able to see those items there. You can share the agent, and also someone can edit the agent as well and edit the queries. If you go to the settings, you have more details. So if you want to deploy as a MCP, you can use this MCP as well. So in the MCP, you'll be available to use like in your platform. So this is another option when we are using Copilot Studio. I don't need to use Fabricate agents as an agent. I can connect to as an MCP. So there's another option if you want. So in this case, you can configure the publishing, and also there's a URL that is available as well. Another configurations that probably sometimes it's not useful for you. So once you are happy, what can be done is I can go back to my agent. So let me go back and select next just to see if I can see my new agent available, my new data agent. Uh, Here you go. It takes a few seconds. Here you go. I can select a new agent. I can type when to use that specific agent. So when the user wants to talk about chocolates, chocolate or any other products. Let me copy this URL, this text. I use the same text later, so in another configuration. So basically right now, the agent is connected to the main agent. So here I have a few configurations that I can change it. So you don't need to change it, but as you can see here, we have a few configurations. If I open the additional details, I'll be able to see like ask the end user before running. No, I don't want to ask the end user before running. And also another important question, because remember that when we are using fabricated agents means that we are using data behind the scenes. So if you are using data behind the scenes means if Renato has access to all the data set, but if like João and another user try to access the data, and also the credentials are using maker provided credentials, means that João can see all the data, inclusive Renato's information. So in this case, be careful with this configuration. Ensure that only end user configuration and credentials are used. And here, you can type the same configuration, because in this case, it's basically combining the user question with that specific prompt when to execute this agent. I can just save it, and also right now we will test it. So let me test the agent. So let me create a new session. I want to create. I want to see the chocolate items. So let me change it, chocolate items. So let me see before moving to the last part. So I have a question for Databricks backend AI agent instead of Power BI report. Why should be it build Copilot Studio? Yeah. So in this case, we have another use case that I was talking to a friend. So let me allow it here. So another use case that I was talking to a friend, he was building a Genie agent in Fabric in Databricks. So what can be done is you can build an agent in Copilot Studio, connect to Databricks in Genie, and also instead of Copilot Studio deciding the best data source and deciding it and so on. So let me start a new session and send the same question. And also instead of using the connecting the data only in Copilot Studio, you can focusing on the agent in Genie in Databricks, and also we can connect agent to agent, so it's better. So and also with this option, you can connect as a knowledge. There's another option over there. Yeah, and also you can deploy it to Shames and any other channels if you want. So in this case, probably it's taking is thinking behind the scenes. So let me say the activity and the last activity just to check if we can see the output here. So it was not allowing me to do that. So here we go. Let me try to create another item. Chocolates. Just see. So let me wait a second. Feel free to drop your questions in the chat as well. Here we go. It's connecting to the data agent. So let me see if we have another activity. So it's connecting to data agent is executing the query, but the problem is chocolate in general is a random question. So it's using Wikipedia, and also it was using information outside instead of using my agent. So in this case, I can improve the prompt to use my custom agent. So I force it by using the prompt. So use Coco data agent, and so I can force it in the question, but thinking that you are using your end user is not sending the same prompt all the time. With list cost Copilot license can be used to create and publish agents in streams from Copilot Studio. So you can have you can use the Copilot Studio license that is $200 per month, and the second license is pay as you go in Azure. So you have this option available that you can use, and also for small companies and small departments. So it's better to use a pay as you go because you can pay like 10 euros per month to use your agents. So in this case, it's not connecting yet, but yeah, so basically you can improve the prompt as you saw. This is option. There's an option to use it, but I can force in the prompt like all the questions. We have 2 minutes 2 minutes only. All the questions about chocolates, you need to use local data agent. Here you go. We can force it in the instructions. You can disable the web search. This is another option. So we can force the AI to use your data agent. So you need to test it using different questions because sometimes it's going to the tools, it's going to the topics because we have a lot of options. So in this case, be careful with that. So agent isn't recognized. So yeah, that is the reason it is failing behind scenes. Probably the
Renato,
connection has
it
been
seems you
expired.
didn't pray to the demo gods, right?
Yeah, exactly. The demo part is often not working well, but yeah,
Yeah,
you
it's
saw
not a problem.
that is an option. And later, if you want to deploy it, so you can publish it, there's an option. And also there is the first option. And the second option, the second thing that you need to do is you can share in a demo website, you can test it internally, you can deploy to Microsoft 365 Copilot and Teams and so on. And also, this is really important because if you're using external channels, be careful with the permission. Probably if you're using WhatsApp, Telegram, or any other channel, probably need to configure the authentication panel. Once you configure the authentication panel, you'll be able to extend it to an external, to a different channel. And also, if you want to use customer service, to use like live a conversation with your end user, so this is another option. Renato, back to the end, to the last slide before moving to the other speaker. So we have two questions. When I need to use Copilot Studio, and also when I need to use data agent. So if you have your data agent only, so if you have your Fabric data, if you are using Fabric in your daily work, you can deploy only data agent. So you don't need to use Copilot Studio. But sometimes data agent is not for end user. So in this case, we need to build an interface for end user. And also sometimes I need to automate any process behind the scenes. So in this case, that is the reason that we are using Copilot Studio. In Copilot Studio, you can automate the process with the triggers, tools, MCPs, and so on. Fabric data agent is limited. And also you cannot connect to create a workflow or build a different scenario. It's only to connect to your data. So in this case, instead of using Copilot Studio to connect as a knowledge, connect to Fabric as using as a knowledge, sometimes the Copilot Studio is not orchestrating the best answer or using the best structure. So in this case, use Fabric Data Agent, use Genie, use Snowflake Cortex as an accelerator to connect your data, and use Copilot Studio to orchestrate it. So thank you very much. Thank you for your time here, and also thanks for being. So it's a pleasure to be here and also to share knowledge about Copilot Studio.
Thank you so much, Renato. Also from my side, thank you for the insightful session. I think we could all feel your energy and passion about that topic, and I learned a lot about connecting agents and Fabric. That was completely new to me, and it seems to be manageable, right? If you really have passion for it. So thanks again for being part of the Copilot Community Conference. If you have questions, unfortunately, we don't have time left to answer those questions, but I'm pretty sure you are allowed to follow Renato on LinkedIn and connect there and ask the questions over there directly within a direct message, right, Renato?
Yep.
Okay.